Hello friends and welcome back to the Steampunk Saga. So last episode, we got automation kind of sorted. This episode, I want to tackle something that's really important. A really pressing issue here on the colony. We need to confront how to age copper. There's a huge amount of copper required for the steampunk builds, and we're going to have to work out how we can age that into oxidized copper. Before we jump into that, a quick round of building upgrades. I wanted to upgrade both the blacksmith and the sawmill. They were level 1 and level 2 was going to introduce so many more recipes. But the blacksmith itself, the only material required to upgrade it were a few bits and bobs and some roof shingles, so that was built in like a minute. The sawmill, on the other hand, took Lord Farquaad a little bit of extra time. Getting these buildings up to level 2 combined with the research is gonna more than double what we can produce recipe-wise. And as you can see, it looks a fair bit better. It's still not a work of art yet, but that's 2 more production buildings up to level 2. Also, we wanted to come over to the tent at the back. That's right, the stonemason's hut. And this is another very simple upgrade. All this building needs is a bit of a roof, and then it's complete. And that's amazing to see. 3 buildings at level 2. This means we could go over to the miner and get her all the materials she needs. Our carpenter is hard at work producing all of the fences, signposts, ladders that the mine requires. And our stonemason over here, she is hard at work as well, getting cobblestone stairs, slabs, and the framed cobblestone that the miner needs to build the actual structure of the mine. With all those things configured, you can see here, Salem Douglas is working hard, and she's going to be instrumental in gathering us the copper we need to get these builds done. Great stuff. So there we go, yeah, very exciting indeed. And while these things were being built, the university did finish the research. So I think we've got like 25 recipes in each building. That's really cool. Anyway, let's jump in and take a look. Oh yeah, the build is really coming together. It's great to see the colonists working hard, Sir Crown, building all of those things. So another thing we did over at the mine, and this is probably quite a good move. Maybe it's not required, but I like to come over here, go to minimum stock, and we gave the mine some of the basics that they're going to need to build the mine structure. Another thing that I think we probably want to add is framed cobblestone. Wait, but for some reason we're unable to add framed cobblestone because it's not in this list. It's still not a tricky craft though, and our workers are getting it done, so we can leave them to it. Really cool. Okay, so there's another building over here at the mine that we could upgrade. We can't do the stone smeltery yet because guess what? We haven't researched it yet, so that's high on the list of things to do. The smeltery, on the other hand, is a really simple build. Look at this. So levels 1 to 2, it requires 1 furnace. So we'll get Farquaad to do that and go and give him a furnace. Haltermain Phantom, good to see you. Unfortunately, we've got no housing, and 10 diamonds is a bit pricey. So as proof of concept, we're just going to put some furnaces into the racks here. We've got a lot of idle-looking couriers, just standing around chatting. Get to work, Endermachoof. And anyway, if we leave them to it, that building should get done in the background. Now, another thing, we don't actually have to turn off our stone smelter. We said we didn't want them smelting the iron ore because we need that for research. But what we can actually do is come over here and basically unselect iron ore as something she's going to smelt. That way we can go over to the main manage workers, unpause her, and she's going to get back to work. There you go, Milena. But she needs to know what kind of fuel, so we're going to say use charcoal. There we go. It's always good to make sure that all of your fuels are set to charcoal and you have somebody that actually makes the charcoal. That's a good question though. So charcoal is made in Minecolonies, either the mechanic or the stone smelter. Oh, okay, yeah, so another good reason to get the research done so we can get this building in action. There is a cool sign though to help you show the things that the stone smelter can make. Cobble into stone into stone brick, clay into terracotta, and of course, clay into bricks. So she's a really important building as your buildings start to need more and more brick. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to confront copper this episode, and there's a couple of ways we're going to do this. So number one, Minecolonies and the steampunk style do actually give you a way to age or oxidize copper without using other mods. And you guys at home have said in the comment section a lot that you really want to see what this building is and what it can do. So it would be really silly for us to not even try it. We're going to go and see if we can do this. We're in Steampunk Pack, and we're looking for, I think it's decorations, I think it's misc, and then here we go, the Oxidizer. Now I remember looking at this a while ago, and it was, if I remember rightly, quite big. Oh my god. What the dickens? This is probably the biggest building in, oh dear. Last resort. What's going on there? No! That can't be right! Our dudes are eating rotten flesh. Oh no, we're gonna have to sort that out. But yeah, let's find somewhere where we can get a better look at this big oxidizer. So here we go, there's a nice big, oh there we go, completed the smeltery. Great job. There's a nice big space between the hospital and the university, and it's quite near to our craftsman's district, so this could be a good spot to build the oxidizer. Oh man, yeah, this is a big building, and this is only level 1. In fact, look at this, the actual setup. This building requires loads of copper anyway. So this is level 1. Okay, wow, level 1. What about level 2? Okay, just a new roof. That's fair enough. And then level 3. Okay, I can't even see what's going on in there. That's just, yeah, almost no different. So we're going to get this set up at level 1 and take a look at what, oh wait, partially outside the colony. All right, yeah, our boundaries come quite close over here. Well, maybe there's somewhere else we can build this. Yeah, do you know what, my dudes? We've got space over on this side. We're going to build this on the other side of the university. There's a nice big space here. This is such a big building now, it's crazy. But yeah, we can slot this in next to the decoration. We're going to move it away just a little bit so you can get around either side. And yeah, this looks like a nice spot for the copper oxidizer. We'll have to do some ground clearing, but the materials don't seem too crazy either. There's a lot of blocks of copper in this, but let's see if we can get an exact count before we get going. Here we go, right, loads of oak planks, not a problem. Oh, okay, 40 blocks of copper is actually quite manageable. There's a few bricks, a lot of dark oak, but nothing looks too crazy. Okay, well we're going to get Lord Farquaad on this and do a bit of ground clearance. Now the wheels should stay in motion as far as the colony goes. Our blacksmith should make the builder the tools they need to get this area fully prepared. We will dig out the trees because that's just nice to help out with, but I'm going to need a lot of copper to get this build done, so we're going to hit the mines. Now I mentioned previously that for my mining expeditions I was using the Minecolonies mine that we already had set up. And while that was okay, it actually broke the mine. The miner wasn't working because of the hole we'd made in the bottom of the mine. So if you're doing that at home, a small tip, don't use the mine for your own mining, build your own mine. Now also to get more mining done, what I want to do is come over here to our second mine. I'd forgotten we'd set this up because it's so discreet, out of the way, but if we can get 2 miners on the go at the same time, that's going to improve how much copper we get. Go to manage workers miner, show employed yes, and we're going to remove somebody that isn't very important. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be the shepherd. Ambriel Blight. We don't really need sheep right now. We don't need wool. So we're going to get her over here. Hop on down. That's right, Ambriel. And she should get going with mining.
Right away.
Now she, of course, needs some things. But everything she needs is part of our colony's ecosystem. So this should get done in the background, and we should get double the mining output. That's going to be essential for getting all of this copper that we need. Anyway, while these guys are working, let's go hit the mines and grab some copper. So strip mining can be a great way for us to get diamonds, but honestly, when you're looking for copper, it's better just to spelunk. If you can find a massive chasm, like this one, there's copper everywhere. And with Ultimine, grabbing this up is pretty simple. Oh, there we go. It's fallen down, but we can go and grab that. We're going to have to go down there anyway to get more copper. There we go. Oh my god, it's swimming away. What is this copper doing? And also, while we're down here, there's no way we're going to pass up getting some iron as well. That stuff is gold. Well, no, it's iron, but you know what I mean. And yeah, again, installing Ultimine means that we're going to get loads of copper, loads of iron, so quickly. It really is a game changer in terms of mods you can add. Now, another thing we're going to want to do is to double our output. Much like in the way you can get like double and triple ore processing, in mods like Mechanism, Minecolonies also has a way for you to do that. If you can upgrade your smeltery enough, they will double and even triple the output of copper, iron, and things that you give them. Oh! Oh right, yeah, monsters. Forgot they were a thing. Good to go. Let's get some copper. Wow, what a haul. Wait, what's going on? Why have I already suddenly got like 3 stacks and 15? Is there something going on here? Do you get more than 1 copper block for digging up this copper ore? Maybe that's just the power of Ultimine. Pretty cool. I won't argue with it because we need so much copper. Yeah, I'm not going to say no to free copper. Oh my god, yeah, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks. Man, yeah, getting copper is actually going to be so easy. But it's not the getting copper that we're going to have trouble with. It's the aging, oxidizing it into the right levels of oxidization that the builds need. Anyway, once I've grabbed this copper, I'm going to head home, make sure Farquaad has got the rest of what he needs, and I will skip forwards now into the time lapse. So this, my friends, is the Copper Oxidizing Decoration. Now, ever since we saw it, you guys have been posting in the comment section that you wanted to see me build it. And a massive thank you to all the suggestions you had coming in the comment section that were giving me advice on different ways to oxidize copper. You guys are right, there was a data pack for Create that lets you turn copper blocks into oxidized copper via the washing machine. Via the washing machine? Yeah, just put it on like a spin load. And while that's a very cool idea, I didn't want to kind of do it before trying out, at least, the decoration from the steampunk style. It looks, well, oh my god, this building is colossal. As far as things go, because this is the biggest building we've built so far that's actually not really got anything to do with Minecolonies. So we're using a lot of space just to get one of the materials we need for a few of the builds, oxidized copper. It's a big building, but it does upgrade from levels 1 to 2 to 3. I'm not quite sure why it does that, but it'll be interesting to find out what that adds. Now, oxidized copper is something I've never really looked into. It's a kind of useful building tool, but all of my Let's Build episodes are done in creative, so I've never really needed to look into how oxidized copper is created. And I'm sure those of you that are vanilla pros out there already know exactly how this is done, but it turns out oxidizing copper is a fairly simple process. Essentially, it's just like in real life. You put copper out and over time it's going to turn green, just like the Statue of Liberty, which apparently was, I guess, orange once. That would have been cool to see. But yeah, that led me down the path of doing a lot of research into how this is made, and apparently you want to put blocks 4 blocks apart. So you put 1 block, leave 4 block space, and then put another block. And this will maximize how quickly a block oxidizes. Pretty cool. And also another top tip, if you don't want a block to oxidize all the way, you can actually use honeycomb, right click on the block, and it will kind of wax coat the block and preserve it in that state. And that's useful for when you want to use different shades of copper for texturing, because it would really suck if you designed a really cool looking roof with all these staggered gradients and then after about an hour or so, the entire thing turns bright green. That'd be terrible. But yeah, you guys warned me very early on, steampunk requires a lot of copper, so it's really about time we built this. We haven't really needed to oxidize much copper before now, but the volumes that we need really do demand building this building. So even though it is huge and a bit of an eyesore, it's a necessary evil. But anyway, that's the theory behind it, and now the building is basically built. Oh my god, this took so long. Let's jump in and put some of that theory to the test. Oh man, what a mammoth build, and it would have been so much quicker actually if I'd fixed these stairs before the builder actually started building this, but you know what, it's done now, and it didn't take too long. I mean, we're still here, right? But for now, you know what, yeah, it's dirty, quite literally, but we're gonna make a little dirt staircase. Oh yeah. And that's fine, because this is premium quality dirt.
So here we go. So the building does come kind of with some instructions. Repair building when the copper is oxidized. Okay, right. Oh my god, wow. Some of it's already oxidized. Look at this. So copper comes in 4 states. There's orange, there's kind of orange, there's, let's see if we can find it, kind of green. Yeah, kind of green, the weathered copper. And then full oxidization means the block turns completely green. I don't think any of those have done that yet. What about over here? These guys? No, these are still weathered. So yeah, the technical terms for those would be, I guess, copper, exposed copper, weathered copper, and then finally, fully green would be oxidized copper. Okay, very cool. And man, yeah, already so much of this has become oxidized. That's pretty cool. This is going to take a lot less time than I was worried about. But let's take a look. It's level 3 of the mine that needed loads and loads and loads of copper. So let's see specifically what state it wanted that copper in. Yeah, so as you can see, it wants exposed copper, which is like halfway between weathered and normal copper, so we've got to grab that up as soon as we can. And yeah, none of this is fully oxidized, so it's pretty important for us to go and grab the copper before it fully oxidizes. But this is a very exciting moment. This was the big thing that was stopping us going to level 3 on most buildings, and as you saw earlier, mining for copper is so quick and so easy. So before this stuff oxidizes, we're going to grab up all the exposed copper we can. We might as well get this weathered copper as well, because I don't think we need any full oxidized yet. Let's grab the weathered and the exposed as much as we can, leave the regular blocks, and then we're going to click repair and see what happens. Because a part of me is slightly worried. If I press repair on this building, usually builders, when they repair a building, they don't actually dig up what's in their way. So it might actually just delete all of this hard weathered copper. And that's the last thing we want, because this stuff is, well, annoying to oxidize, to say the least. The big question now, though, is which building is it that actually uses the copper to make things like cut copper stairs and these framed copper blocks? So let's say we want some exposed cut copper stairs. It's made, in the Stone Mason. So luckily enough, we can get Sheila on this, and she thinks copper is a stone. So you know what? I'm fine with that. Now, of course, our second miner wants some spruce fence, and this is because different mines from different style packs use different materials to make their mines, and honestly, this is pretty big. Luckily enough, both of the miners use spruce, so we can come over here to the Sawmill, and spruce fence is going to be required for loads of other things anyway. So we can just go like this, make sure we're not using frostbite sticks because they really do suck. And drag over regular sticks. Boom, recipe learned. And we've got spruce trees over at the forester, so Sir Crown should dig right in, won't you, bro? So what else to do? Well, this is a great time to go through this list of open requests. We need the smeltery up in action. We've got to get more fuel around the colony, we need to get more charcoal, which absolutely means we need to research the stone smeltery. Now, what do we need to actually research the stone smeltery? I think that was the hut that required the raw iron. Now, we turned off smelting iron ore at our smeltery, so Milena has not been touching those blocks of iron ore. But let's go and check now, make sure the miner has been gathering that stuff up. Jen Bailey, man, I really need loads more houses so I can start recruiting more dudes. But again, yeah, luckily because we've got more materials now, the copper oxidization hut is up, all of our houses should be level 3, including those fancy steampunk ones. So let's take a look. This looks like it's got ore inside. Oh, and it does, yeah, 18 iron ore. So we're well on the way. We're going to have to wait a little bit, or alternatively, we could get a Silk Touch pickaxe. That's another way to approach that recipe requirement. Problem is though, Silk Touch is quite expensive, and I've been spending my levels getting crappy enchanted books, so we can get people like Jen Wolflover, Lapis, well, close enough, into the colony. So we'll get the iron ore in the background, but let's go and take a look. What research can we be doing next? What's the most important stuff? Now, one of the researches I always put on the back burner is guards, because it always feels like a bit of a waste investing in guards because they don't really progress the colony. They'll protect you against raiders, but even then it doesn't feel like a great investment. I do think the research for guards should be a bit more focused and a bit more powerful, but that's just me. Let's take a look though, let's see what we can unlock. So the farm is level 3, that means we can let it grow and learn the plantation, but to do that, we'll need compost. So a composter's hut is a big thing for us to do. Farmers will no longer trample crops, but I don't think Mike Crown is trampling his crops, so that's not a big thing. Ooh, open up the nether. We could actually get a nether mine. That would be big. I've got an ancient tome to do more scrolls, but what I don't have is an enchanter's tower. Okay. Oh no, look at this. So it was actually Vein Miner that needed the iron ore. Only needs 32. That's great, very important to do, but the stone smeltery only needs brick. That's huge, 64 bricks is very easy. The other two choices are Rocking Roll, which gets us the Crusher's Hut, which is another great build, or String Work, which unlocks the Fletcher's Hut. Yeah, do you know what? I think we're going to work on the Stone Smeltery for 64 bricks, and we're going to work on the Fletcher's Hut, because the Fletcher is super important. If we get the Fletcher's Hut, we can start hiring archers, which do great damage versus raids. You always want some archers to complement your knights. So yeah, we want 16 string and 64 bricks. No worries. So here we go, bricks and string. Now, hands down, the best way to get string, I think, at this point is, well, if you have the Shepherd's Hut, you can get wool, and then you use the wool in like a millstone. That will grind up, and that will get you string. Super good. It's not a great conversion rate, 1 wool to 1 string, but still, it's a way to get it. So here we go, technology. Now these are both level 2, which means they're going to take some time to research, but they're well worth doing. The stone smeltery is going to be huge for getting fuel in our colony. Charcoal is hands down the best way to fuel all of your stuff, provided you have the foresters to support the logs. Anyway, also string work, and there we go, 2 of 2, amazing. Now for next episode, what I want to do is finally kind of finish up the foundations of this colony. I want to do a massive episode where I terraform the entirety of this basin and get it ready for us to put down buildings. That will mean I can put down the railway track as well, or at least map out where the train is going to go. Now you guys in the comment section did drop some very important information. You mentioned that colonists will create railways as if they were solid walls. They will not walk over them. And while that's probably the best for their safety, it does mean some tricky things. We can't put it down the ground along here. So what we're probably going to do is raise it up and have like a tunnel that comes underneath here with a railway on top. I think that'll look pretty cool. We could even retrofit this path here to actually be a bit of a railway track and not a place colonists walk. That might look pretty cool. And the last thing that we want to do is actually give our blacksmith a recipe to make some iron armor. Now, a quick look at the open request shows us that, yeah, this is number 1, the chief concern. These guys all want some armor, very important. But iron is pretty expensive, and I don't think most of these guys can actually use this yet, so instead, we're going to be teaching the blacksmith how to make chainmail. Oh yeah, good old set of chainmail. Now, if you've ever wear chainmail in real life, it's actually really heavy. But there we go, iron nuggets and iron bars. This should be a pretty simple craft. And now with the blacksmith all hooked up, what we've got to do is configure our smeltery to actually use the iron chunks that we get. Not the blocks of ore, because we want those for research, but definitely raw iron. So we'll turn off deep slate iron ore, we want that as well. We also want gloom slate and skulk iron stone, because yeah, both of these things can be used for the research apparently, but raw iron cannot. So you know what? Milena, that is 100% fine for you to smelt. And to make her job easier, I'm going to go and grab up all of the iron that I have in my computer, which should be a sizable amount, and toss it into the warehouse. But that brings me on to the next big important thing we need to do. We need a way to get renewable iron. We're going to have loads more guards in the end. They're going to need lots and lots of iron for their gear, for their swords, for their armor. Also, it would be really nice to give our workers iron tools. Oh my god, 104 iron ingots. Well, I'll take a stack, and the nuggets, and also these chest plates and things, and donate those to the cause. And let's go and toss these into the warehouse. Because as always with Minecolonies, the clipboard is your friend, and your number 1 task should always be to remove as many of these requests from this list and fulfill what people want. Here we go, so we'll just pick any old rack and toss in the iron. nuggets and bars, and also this raw iron that I have. And what about in my backpack? There's some raw iron. And that's about it. There's some copper there as well, which might come in handy. Yeah, you know what? We'll give that to the smelter as well. Let her smelt that up. Boom. Yeah, oh man, so things are progressing really well now. Automation is on its way. So a massive thank you for watching this episode, my dudes. Next episode, what we're absolutely going to do is completely terraform the basin so it's ready for all of our buildings. We're also, if I can, in that episode, gonna build a create iron farm. It's a way to get iron from thin air, which is going to be really huge. There's no easy villages in this mod pack, so we really have to slum it up with the old school style of create farm. But it's pretty simple to do, and I'll be able to show you exactly how. A massive thank you to all of the comments that were giving me advice on how to oxidize copper. It looks like we've got that in the bag for now. Hope you learned a thing or two maybe from watching this as well. But until next time, my friends, take care.